Alright YouTube, what is going on? It's Hightower 5000 here, today bringing you the Firemaker's Curse quest guide. The quest requirements for this quest are 74 firemaking, 76 constitution and 64 agility. The items required for this quest are lightweight clothing such as the Wicked Clothes set and also boots of lightness. You want to wear these from the start and ignore what I've got on. You also want to go ahead and bring yourself food and or Sardamon and brews and restores. It's up to you, just bring your best food possible. Go ahead and fill your inventory with like 25. Go ahead and bring an emergency teleport. For later on you will need your best magic or ranged weapons and you will need more food. Do note that armour, prayer and combat stat affecting potions do nothing in this quest at all, so do not bother bringing them or wearing them. Finally, once you're ready, you want to make your way to the quest start point, which is to the southwest of the Tree Gnome Stronghold and is shown on screen. So once you arrive at the quest start point, you want to go ahead and speak with Phoenix, and then you'll go into a cutscene. Just continue through the dialogue. Select option number 1, Travelling Firemaker. What does that involve? Select option number 1, this seems dangerous, why put your lives at risk? Select option number 2, what are you waiting for? You'll then get the quest prompt, which you want to go ahead and accept the quest and then continue through the dialogue, and then finally select option number 1, yes, let's go. Just continue through the dialogue. So if you go ahead and look at the fires just to your north, then you can see that they're in a sort of arrow shape. We need to go ahead and finish this arrow. So basically what I've got on the screen is the complete solution. What you need to do is go ahead and use this pitch can which you have in your inventory, which is given to you by Flint. Right click and just make fire here. Now do note the fires go out after a certain amount of time, so you do have to be really quick while doing this. This pattern here though is very simple, it's just an arrow. If you do make a mistake, you can just go ahead and right click on one of the fires that you have created, and then all you need to do is just go ahead and stamp out. So there we go, that is me managed to complete that fire there, so it was quite easy. It was just basically an arrow pointing out the cave, and that is room 1 now complete. All you need to do is just continue through the dialogue. So once you're in room 2, just continue through the dialogue. So there should just be a fire pit right in front of you, which you just want to go ahead and light up. Just continue through the chat. Then what you want to do is go to your north and you should see a Firemaking Journal chapter 1 on a rock, which looks like a stump. Go ahead and take this. Your screen will then start to shake. Select option number 2, what plan? Your screen will then go dark and then someone will die. So what you want to do is go ahead and relight the fire to your south. Then what you want to do is go ahead and continue through the chat. Select option number 2, what do you want from us? Select option number 1, we must continue through the caves. And then what you want to do is exit out through the eastern tunnel. You'll now be into room 3 with more fires. So this room here is very similar to room 1, except the pattern is a little bit different. It is a paw this time. Again, we're going to be using our pitch can to go ahead and do so. Make fire here creates a fire on the exact spot you're standing on. Make fire creates a fire which is one tile in front of you, whichever direction you're facing. So keep that in mind because you don't want to enclose yourself in with the paw. Again, make sure you do this extremely fast as there is a time limit on this and you don't want to have to keep doing it over and over again. There's a diagram on screen showing you the correct solution. Once you've finished that, you'll go back into more conversation with Char, which you want to go ahead and continue to skip through. Then what you want to do is go ahead and get moving, and you want to add to small rock pile which is to the east of the room. So what you want to do is, as all these rocks are falling, you want to go ahead and start picking these up, and you want to go ahead and add to the small rock pile which is to the east of the room. Do note you can only carry one at once. I now have the option to go ahead and climb up the rock pile, so that's what I will do, and then I'll enter into the next room, room number 4. So once you arrive back in this room, what you want to go ahead and do is just light the fire pit again. This is very similar to room 2, though it isn't the exact same. The rest of the crew will then join you. You then want to continue through their chats. Once you're finished that, you want to head north, and again on a rock there should be another part of the journal which you want to go ahead and pick up. Just select option number 1, sorry. Select option number 2, did you mean Zaros? Select option number 2, how did you evade death? Select option number 1, what happened to you? And that'll be you finish that dialogue. So if you look back over to the fire pit, just to the left or to the east of the fire pit, you should have an option to tie up Firemaker column on this pillar which is right beside the fire pit. Go ahead and select option number 3, Twig. Select option number 1, yes. So you then want to go ahead and relight the fire once more. And then you want to go ahead and enter the tunnel to the east side of the room once the dialogue has finished. So we're now into room number 5. The correct solution is shown on screen. Do note that there is 2 different colours of fires in this room which you can get from the bowls of powder at the start of the room. Make sure that you go ahead and take yellow and red powder. We're going to start off with yellow powder because it's best to start on the inside and then go ahead and finish off the outside. So what you want to do is mix yellow powder into your pitch can, and then it will have in brackets yellow to go ahead and indicate which current powder is in the can. Again, make sure you do this very quickly, and again make sure you don't get yourself entrapped in with the pattern. Good luck. And there we go, that is the correct solution there. So once you're done that, you'll just continue through some more dialogue, and then you'll start to get these to come towards you. All you need to do is just go ahead and pass through the gap. You then want to exit through the door to the north. Make sure you go ahead and avoid the firewall, or you can go through the gaps of the firewall and go through after. At this stage you might want to go to the bank to get more food, because we are going to be using quite a lot in this room, especially if you have a lower amount of hit points. If you want to go to the bank, use your emergency teleport and simply teleport out, or go through the door behind you. Once you go to the bank, get your food, you want to come back to the quest start point. You want to climb down the stairs back into these caves, and you'll either be in this room or the room previous. If you're in the room previous, just go through and then you'll end up back in this room. So we're now into the next room here. This is an agility maze. So if you don't already, go ahead and equip your lightweight clothing. What you want to do is make your way over here to the western side. Just by jumping over the ledges, you'll eventually come across this fire pit here, which you want to go ahead and light up. You then want to go ahead and push the switch. You then want to follow the path directly east. Once you make it over here, what you want to do is go ahead and light up the fire pit, and then what you want to do is go ahead and push the column switch. Again, what you want to do is head back over to your west. So you then want to run north at this stage. Now, passing these obstacles, they're actually quite easy, so just go ahead and run through them. If you do land up getting caught, then you will get burned a little. Once you arrive at where I am here, you want to go ahead and push this column switch. Then what you want to do is you want to jump over this ledge, and you want to make your way over to your east. You want to continue jumping, and then you'll see another fire pit, which you want to go ahead and light up. Once you've lit that fire pit, jump back over to your west. Again, go ahead and pass all the obstacles. You then want to jump back over into the centre of the room. You then want to go north, and then you want to go back along to your east. And then you want to go ahead and push that column switch. You then want to go back over to your west. Continue going west. You then want to go ahead and jump over the ledge to your west. You then want to go ahead and push the column switch just to the south. You then want to go ahead and light a fire pit at your feet. You then want to go ahead and jump back over the ledge we just jumped over. You then want to go ahead and push the column switch, which is just to your south. This is going to move the bridge behind the fire line. You want to cross over and head north. You then want to go ahead and jump to the ledge, which is to your west. You then want to continue to jump over there until you get into the corner where you want to go ahead and light up the fire. Once that fire is lit, you want to go ahead and push the switch once more. And then all you want to do is continue directly to your east, and that'll be us done this room. Once you reach this area here, just go ahead and enter through the tunnel, and that is that room now complete. Do note you might want to go ahead and regenerate all your health points. So you want to go ahead and light the fire pit once more. Again, there'll be another journal on a rock just to the north, chapter number 3, which you'll want to go ahead and pick up after you finish the dialogue. Select option number 1, Zamorak. Select option number 3, yes, he's the Mahjarrat. So what you want to do is go ahead and tie up someone at the column right beside the fire pit once more. This time we're going to go ahead and select option number 5, more options, and then we're going to select option number 1, Sarah. Select option number 1, yes. Your screen will then go blank for a second. What you want to do is go ahead and relight the fire pit. You then want to go ahead and enter through the tunnel to the east. So in this room again, we've got to go ahead and solve another puzzle. What you want to do is go ahead and pick up the different colours of powder. Now do note that the blue powder, where the blue fires are lit, those are the correct locations, so you don't actually have to pick up any blue powder at all. That is just a misconception. The rest of the puzzle should be easy, so go ahead and complete it and good luck. Again, just follow the same tactics as we did with the previous puzzle. And there we go, that is that puzzle now complete. So again, you'll get this waves of things which you have to go ahead and try and avoid, or you'll end up losing a lot of health. Once you go ahead and either avoid or get hit by them, you'll be able to pass into the next room, which is to your north. So once you go ahead and light up a fire, you'll start to see that embers will start to spawn in. What we need to do to pass this room is we need to go ahead and survive 4 waves. The wave counter is at the top of the screen. So if you're at a higher level, this is going to be very easy because you're going to have a high amount of health points, so you can go ahead and basically just run around the room and avoid the different kinds of embers and also fire starters and other fire orientated objects which spawn in. If you're at a lower level, then you might not be able to absorb as much of the damage, so you need to go ahead and I guess create these firewalls and act as barriers, which you can do by going ahead and lighting the oil pools at the edges of the room. For this, you just need to really stay alive and keep a note of your health points. So going ahead and using food obviously to regenerate. You can also use prayer in this room as well, there's no worry about that. So rapid restore and stuff like that will work very, very well. For me, it was just a case of running around the room just because I have 90 hit points, and you'll find that you can probably do the majority of running around the room yourself, though at times you might need to go ahead and put up the occasional firewall to go ahead and help protect you. Outside of that, all I'd really recommend doing is going ahead and just watching where the flames and fireballs and all that stuff are, because if they do explode they can hit you for maybe 1 or 2k, but as long as you keep your health points probably above half, then you'll be fine. This can take an extremely long time, unfortunately. It can take about 8 minutes to go ahead and complete, which is quite some length. Even though it is 8 minutes long, it is extremely easy to go ahead and do, and I'm sure you will be fine. Do note that you can leave at any time with your emergency teleport to go ahead and get more food. That's what I did just before this. That helped me out a lot, and overall I probably only used about 10 bits of food all in all, so I really didn't need to use that much food at all. It really depends on, I guess, your hit points and how good you are avoiding the different kind of fire objects which will get put into the game for you. Outside of that, I'm sure you'll be fine, to be honest, so I just wish you the best of luck. So once you've finished all 4 waves, what you want to do is head north and exit out through the tunnel. You then want to go ahead and relight the fire pit to the south of the room, and then you want to go ahead and pick up the next part of the journal to the north of the room. So before we go ahead and move on to the next room, we need to go ahead and tie someone up again. Again, it's going to be Twig, so go ahead and select option number 2, Twig, and then select option number 1, yes. You then want to go ahead and relight the fire pit once it's gone out. Once that's done, you can go ahead and enter through the tunnel to your east. So once you arrive in here, we need to go ahead and complete the final fire puzzle. The solution is shown on screen. Do note that you don't need any yellow powder, as the yellow part is already lit up. Again, I'd recommend starting off in the middle, going ahead and starting off with the blue. Then from there, go ahead and go around the outside and do the red, simple as. Again, make sure you don't get trapped in with the arrowhead itself. Good luck. And there we go, that is that fire complete. Just continue through the chat with Char. And then what you want to do is go ahead and light the fire pit, which is just to your northeast. You want to go ahead and take torch from the fire pit once it's now lit. You then want to continue down the path of darkness. So to avoid these black shadows, what you want to do is go ahead and left click to get rid of them. Now do note that their source is like at the edge of the cave, so go ahead and try and click there. However, I found it wasn't very accurate at all, and Wikipedia seems to back me up on that claim, so it's really difficult to go ahead and try and avoid them. So what you need to go ahead and do is basically try tank through the section if you can. If not, try and be very precise with your clicking and just go ahead and left click on the black tentacles. Once you reach the end of the tunnel, you just want to go ahead and enter through. Once you reach the end of the tunnel, you want to go ahead and enter through. So once you arrive in this room here, it'll be quite dark, so you need to go ahead and light up the fire pits. Once you've done that, everyone will re-enter into the room, continue through the dialogue, and once you've done that, go ahead and pick up the next chapter on the stone to the north of the room. Just continue through the dialogue. So for this next part, what we need to do is go ahead and return to the bank. So what you need to do is go ahead and deposit everything you have. So what you want to wear is you want to go ahead and wear weight reducing clothing such as the Wicked set and the boots of lightness. For the weapon, it's really up to you. Magic and range are very strongly recommended. For me, I went with a Carol's crossbow, normal and offhand setup with the bolt rack there. That was my best range setup, so go ahead and do your best range or magic setup. Now you can do melee, however, unless you can tank very well, i.e. you have 99 hit points, then don't, because you really don't want to get into a close range of Char at all, because Char can hit really high when you're at close range. Do not bring any other armour or any like overloads or supersets, because that's actually going to do more damage than good. So don't bother bringing anything like a shield or any other armour, because that's just going to land up helping her out. Same with prayer as well. Prayer's going to be no use. So all you literally want to do in your inventory is have yourself your Firemaking journal. You want to have one free inventory space, and then you want to fill the rest up with food. That food can vary, it's really up to you, so it can be rock tails, it can be whatever food, or it can be potions such as Sardamon and Brews. If you have a low agility level, then you're going to want to bring super energy potions, just because you want to be running constantly, so you want to have a run at a really high percentage. Outside of that, that's all you need to know. So weight reducing clothing, either a range or a magic weapon. Bring full food in your inventory, bar a free inventory slot, and also the Firemaking journal. So once you arrive back at the quest start location, go ahead and enter back down into the cave and you'll land up in this room here. Go ahead and tie up on the Firemaker column one last time, and this time we're going to go ahead and select option number 3, go ahead and tie up Emmett. Select option number 1, yes. Once the fire goes out, you need to go ahead and relight it. So from here, what you want to do is go ahead and enter through the tunnel to your east. Do get ready for combat at this stage, though it is not immediate. So once you arrive in this room here, what you need to go ahead and do is head up to your north and take the final chapter of the book, chapter number 6, and then you just want to go ahead and continue through the dialogue. Select option number 2, that's a good idea. Select option number 1, can we leave now? So now we have to go ahead and start the boss fight. Now before we do, we need to go ahead and get ourselves a pitch can. So to do this, all you need to do is go ahead and speak to Flint. Flint is tied up in one of the poles. I've lost my pitch can, and then he will give you another one even though he's tied up. So once you've got that, you should be able to go ahead and enter down into the arena now and get this boss fight started. For this, you actually have to climb down steps. So final tip, if you are using EOC, then I'd recommend going ahead and putting your pitch can onto your hotbar. This just means that you can go ahead and make fires without having to drop down and click on the pitch can. It means you can go ahead and in a sense spam create fires, which will help you out going forwards. Once you arrive in the arena, go ahead and speak with Char. So for the boss fight itself, it's quite simple. It is just very long, that's the problem. You can't really inflict too much damage at once. So when you go into the arena with Char, what's going to happen is you're going to talk to her and then you're going to start off the fight. Very simple. Now the next thing you do is you're going to use your pitch can to light up fires. For every fire that is lit, you can go ahead and inflict 100 hit points and damage onto Char. Now the problem with this is that you can only probably have about 5 fires at once before they'll start to deplete, so the best tactic I found was going ahead and lighting a fire, going ahead and causing some damage, running over to the other side of the room, and then going ahead and lighting another fire, causing some damage, so on and so forth. That's all you really need to do. So as you can tell, you're not going to be inflicting a lot of damage at once, and this is why this fight goes on for a really long time. Again, you want to stay out of a close proximity to Char because Char will hit you really high with melee. So just try and avoid her and run over to the other side of the room if you need to. I do that quite a few times, which you'll see in the background. There's a few other things that you do need to note. So when Char starts to go ahead and go like a white colour, then if you're close to water, lead Char to water. If not, just leave it alone, run to the other side of the room and start lighting as many fires as you possibly can. At that stage you can't really attack Char, so just go ahead and light fires and just be productive, I guess you could say. If sparks come off, it's a similar thing. Basically she's about to go white, so just go ahead and ignore that and take that an indication that you're going to be lighting fires very soon. Char walks so slow that if she goes white and you're not near water, just don't bother with it. Char, you can use this to your advantage, Char's movement. You can just simply run from one side of the arena to the other because the arena is quite big. This is why we do want near enough 100% run energy at all times. The final thing you really need to note is that there are going to be firewalls periodically in this fight. Not at the start, but when you start to get into the lower hit points. These are quite easily avoided, just go ahead and stand in the gaps. If you are a high enough level and you've got a lot of health points, then you can probably go ahead and tank a lot of this, to be honest. It's just about going ahead and being smart with your attacks, because you can go ahead and absorb as much damage as possible, but it's really all about what you do and how many fires you have lit, and just about that movement and that clicking speed. That's really all the tips I can give you, to be honest. I'll have the Wikipedia link down in the description below though it pretty much just says what I have just said there. If you are still struggling, then I'll have the Wikipedia link down in the description below. However, what I've said is pretty much similar to what I have just said, so there's not really much difference, to be honest. Just go ahead and watch what I've got in the background, and again, just apply that. Again, just light fires, go ahead and attack, then move, light another fire, attack. If she goes white, lead her to water if you're close. If not, go ahead and light fires. Avoid the firewalls and you're pretty much fine. This fight can go on for a very long time, greater than 5 minutes, so I've gone ahead and cut this. So what you want to do at this stage is pause the video, go ahead and do the fight, and then resume the video once you're done. Good luck. And there we go, that is the fight over. So once she says enough, she'll admit defeat, and then you just want to continue through the dialogue. Select option number 2, how do we get out? So from here you want to exit through the tunnel up to the north of the room. For this you'll need to go ahead and climb up the steps, which is an agility thing. And there we go, that is the quest complete. So, congratulations, you've completed the Firemaker's Curse. You're rewarded with 2 quest points, 80,000 Firemaking XP, 30,000 Agility XP, which also means I just got 99 Agility, 76,000 Constitution XP, the Book of Char, access to 2 Firemaking events, and also 2 Treasure Hunter keys. Thank you very much for watching this quest guide. Please leave a like, rating, subscribe if you are new around here. Go down into the description below and check out my other quest series playlists, where I'm sure I'll be able to help you out with another quest. And that's all for this video. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Hightower 5000 and I'm out.